You know, you're trying to see what you're doing here, but not with this. It's too small, too fiddly. Yeah. Too fiddly, too weird. Ugh. Time to take matters into our own hands. Let's head out to the shop. I stumbled across this at Harbor Freight, and what I like about it is it's wide so I can look through it with both eyes, and it's 4x magnification, and that's about twice what I typically see for these small magnifying glasses. As far as size, looks to be about 4 inches by about 6 inches. Now, with the table saw and a couple of power tools, I could buzz a little stand out for this in just minutes, but actually, what's the challenge in that? Why don't we try making a little stand for this? Strictly with hand tools, no power tools allowed, okay? No batteries, no 110, just hand tools. Well, except for the lights in here. So, found a couple of scraps. Here's a little piece of poplar, and here's a little flat board piece of poplar here. So let's get started. So that'll be about the position of it. It's a little heavy on this end, so we want to make sure the base comes out at least this far. So what do you think? Kind of right there? So let's make our first cut right here. So now we need to finish these edges. All right, this is what's called a shooting board. It's basically a way of placing a board at a nice 90-degree angle, and you can use your hand plane to smooth the edge. And in this case, I'm going to start with the end grain. And because I'm an amateur, I'm going to use a clamp to help hold it in there. So let's make a few passes. It's starting to square up. Now let's rotate it. I could just plane this side in the vise by itself, but as long as I have the shooting board here, we will use it. This should be a little easier because it's not end grain. And now let's use our small little block plane, put a little chamfer on the edges, just because we can. So this is how it will sit. And we want to lift this up, giving me some room to work under here, but I also want to tip it down just a little bit so I don't have to be straight down on top of it to get the work done. So I've got this piece of poplar. So let's see if we can approximate the height that we need. This looks to be about the right height, and a little bit of an angle. That should do it. Okay, I've got my mark across the top and down, and I'm going to cut it just a tad long. Okay. And now for our angle cut. I've marked it across the top and the angle on the back so I can see it. Back to the shooting board, and let's just dress up the two ends of this piece. So the problem with little screws like this is that the threads are going to want to tighten on this board as well as this, and we don't want that. So we have to enlarge the hole going through the base just a little bit. Well, let's put a hole through the handle. Well, we could put this thing to work right now, but we're this far into it. Why don't we pretty it up just a little bit? I'll get some sandpaper and we'll smooth things out and we'll put a little finish on it. Just a little bit of this teak oil should do. All right, let's go check it out. Well, this is going to be perfect. Not bad for a couple of bucks and some spare wood. Hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.